Thanks, Green. A quick question on the jobs report as well. Total black employment is down 3 straight months now, with 635,000 jobs lost in that spell, which is the most ever in a 3-month stretch outside of the pandemic. Is that a setback for the administration, and do you have a comment?
So I'll just remind you that under this administration back in April, you saw the unemployment rate hit a record low at 4.7%, and that was just a couple months ago. Again, under this administration. Look, this data certainly particularly is volatile, and that is something that we understand. So it's most useful to measure in a quarterly basis over 3 months instead of one to smooth out noise, right? Because this one is a little bit more noisy. So, the black jobless rate last quarter was tied with the previous quarter for the lowest on the record. So that is also important to note. So this is why we continue to say how important Bionomics is, how it has actually worked for all Americans, not leaving anyone behind. When you think about more black Americans are employed in the labor force, when you think about more black Americans have health care with average of almost 50% in healthcare.gov coverage, we achieved the fastest rate of new black-owned businesses in over 25 years. We're investing in infrastructure in communities of color that are normally left behind, that are normally not taken in consideration. And so we're reconnecting, that's reconnecting those communities that are separated, and we're closing the digital divide for black Americans because of the bipartisan infrastructure legislation when you think about broadband. So all of these things are part of comes out of part of the president's key signature pieces of legislation that clearly are into law now, and that we're implementing. So there is an effort to make sure that we continue to do the bottom up, middle out, and not do this trickle down economy.
Are these numbers a cause for concern, or are you looking at it as a blip because these are...
So what I said was this data is particularly volatile, so we have to make sure that we look at it more holistically because it's a volatile data. But there are also data points that I just pointed to, right, that show that under this administration we have seen record low unemployment when you think about the black community, 4.7% ever since we started tracking unemployment rate in different communities. So that matters, and so that's why the president continues to talk about Bionomics and continues to implement some of these key historic pieces of legislation that is going to help communities like in the black community. Okay.